What's up, everybody? This is Tanner Courtney, and I am here at the H&M Marina with my good friend and business owner, Alex Payne, for episode number 3 of the Forward Standard. I'm going to let Alex introduce himself, and then we're just going to talk about life. We're going to catch up. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about our journeys, and we're going to find some leadership lessons throughout. So enjoy the show. Alex, go ahead.
Alex Payne. Been working on boats pretty much my whole life, and as of the first of this year, I decided to open my own business, and I now run a mobile oil change business where I actually drive around by boat and service everybody in the marina. So far, it's been an adventure, and hopefully it turns into a big success.
Heck yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, so how long have you been doing that?
So I've been servicing boats for probably 10 years, 10, 12 years. I always kind of did it here at the fuel dock. And then I decided to go out on my own and just try to make something of it, and just go the self-employed route.
Yeah. So how old are you?
I'm 34.
34 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
So he is 2 years older than me-ish, maybe 3, depending on when your birthday is.
Yeah.
But Alex is he's 34 years old. When did you decide to break off and try to do your own business?
Probably about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of went to work for my dad, who owns a company working on boats. And then I just kind of decided I wanted to be in it for myself and just kind of do my own thing.
And how long? So throughout high school, growing up, I don't know, we can ask you if you went to college, or obviously I am going to talk about Lake Jennings.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide or think that maybe I want to run my own business versus working for somebody else?
Boy, I actually had a client while I was working here that I was doing an oil change on his boat, and he said, when are you going to go out and do your own thing? And this was probably about 5 years ago. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm kind of happy doing what I'm doing, and I like the work. And he approached me with, you will always make a living working for someone else, but you make money working for yourself. And it kind of made me start to look at it from a different perspective, and like, maybe I should be, really putting myself out there and doing it on my own.
Yeah. And obviously I'm assuming grew up around water.
Oh yeah. I've been on boats my whole life, so it's definitely my second home.
So would you say that you're working within your passion right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to probably jump all over the place, but I'm curious because we're both at the beginning of our journeys with business, right? Like, we're not seasoned veterans in the space, but you've been doing this for a little while now, longer than me even. It's not an easy path, right?
Oh, no. It's a path worth taking and worth traveling, but it is by no means easy.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that has kept you going during times from the inception when you decided, you know what, I'm going to quit Lake Jennings, which we're going to talk about, and I'm going to go do my own thing. Yep. And I'm sure there's some excitement there, of course. Like, you had the courage to go do it. You honored your intuition. You did it. But then you found out, obviously, that it's not easy. So what are some of the things that has been able to keep you going in that pursuit versus just maybe going to get another job because you're like, man, this is hard. I got bills to pay. We live in the most expensive city in America right now.
Yeah, we do. Honestly, I have a great support group. That mom, dad, my sister, and that whole side of the family with my niece and nephew. I just have a really good support group that they have helped me through every aspect of this transition, and then just physical fitness, really diving into my running. And I feel like when you get 18, 20 miles into a race, you really start coming up with all the answers to life. So,
oh man, he did it. He
yep.
did it. He spoke the truth, guys. So if you're out there listening to this, and if you know me at all, which most of you don't actually, but I'll tell you that running for me used to be the most spiritual thing that I could possibly do. It was the most favorite thing that I could do. I wasn't fully into the ultra running world yet. However, I was following, everybody I followed was an ultra runner. I was working my way up there. During that time is actually when I met Alex. And as you guys know, but some of you don't, right? Like the running was taken away from me temporarily because of my accident. So I can't do that anymore. So I just wanted to piggyback off that because Alex just said everything, all the answers came to him while he's running. So I will tell you that when I used to run long distance before the military, I used to do 10 to 20 miles every Sunday. That was my long, slow distance run, which I don't know how you do your training, but I would do one long, slow run a week, and then there'd be other runs throughout the week.
Yeah.
But you have no idea how many things got organized in my head, the clarity that came to me, the spiritual intuitions. I swear I always wanted to have like a old school tape recorder with me. That way, as I'm running, I could record those thoughts, which is actually still not a bad idea.
That's actually a good idea. Yeah.
Because, it's kind of hard because I would, as I'm running, I would take notes on my phone. But that's kind of hard. But I'm telling you, I'm just affirming what you just said as far as everything coming to you during the physical fitness. But it's much deeper than that. It's running takes you into a place where you are truly in tune with God, I feel like. And the beautiful thing is we're all born to run. So even if you don't run, you're born to do it. So it's only a choice if you want to do it. So there's a tidbit. That was a side bit. So let's go back to, really quickly, let's just go back to Lake Jennings. So that was 2023, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think I was working there for maybe almost a year, maybe a half a year. But anyways, if you don't know, Lake Jennings is it used to be a county park in San Diego, and then it was purchased, I believe, from Helix Water District. And so the county campground and recreation area, I think it's 300 acres, I believe, was taken over by Helix Water District, and then they kept the campground open. And I was working as a maintenance park ranger, basically in charge of taking care of the facilities, doing law enforcement, patrolling, just anything and everything. We were the ones in charge. Alex came on, he got hired. That's how I met him. We had some amazing times there.
Yeah, we did.
And honestly, it was a really good job. It was one of those jobs that for me, and I'm going to let you talk about it.
Sure.
I just want to share for me, I was transitioning out of the military when I got that job. I was going through a ton of mental health troubles and issues that I had never had in my life. And the owner there, or the manager there, her name is Kira. She can attest to this. I mean, when I first started there, I was having panic attacks where I actually had to leave work. So to be outside, working in nature with the sun, having our own ability to do what we want, it was just the most healing, amazing job ever. But just like most good things in life, they are temporary and they are stepping stones, because obviously both myself and Alex were called to higher than that. Because trust me, I had the thought of retiring there because it is a great job with amazing benefits that don't exist at most other places. And to be honest, if it weren't for those benefits for me, I probably wouldn't even be in San Diego, because after my accident, I was in the hospital for 3 months and I had bills. But guess what? Helix took care of me.
Yeah.
They actually donated, they came together as a staff force throughout the whole district and donated an entire month of PTO while I was in the hospital, while they were figuring out my disability. So thank you very much, Helix Water District. You know how much I love you guys. I'm getting a lot off my chest. Alex, let's talk about you now.
Sure.
When it comes to how did you find that job? Why did you do that job? Let's talk a little bit. Let's share some stories about while we worked there.
Well, boy. So I had just been working here for almost 10 years, and I decided, I wanted to do something other than boats. I kind of wanted to explore other options, see if something else was out there. So I actually moved to Yuma, Arizona, and did a stint as the head of operations for a resort that's out there on the river. And so, long story short, that job didn't work out. So I moved back home because this is San Diego, home where I know people. So, and then my mom kind of just sent me a text one day about a park ranger job at Lake Jennings, and I
Yeah.
just applied for it, thinking, "What the heck, maybe something fun to do." And um,
And you were
so
definitely probably one of the most qualified people there. Because not
I
only did you
appreciate
know all the
that.
mechanical side of things, but you do know how to fix the boats, right? Because we had our
Yeah.
own guy that would do the boats.
Yep.
I won't
Yeah.
drop a name, but you could have done everything there.
Yeah. And it was a unique opportunity to work for a great company. Helix was great to work for. And I kind of got myself back on my feet with that job, because I wasn't really sure where my life was headed at that point. And it did a lot of things for me. It really just kind of gave me some stability and introduced me to some amazing people in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it really served a good purpose for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, can't complain about being outside.
No, and I'm so grateful too for meeting you there, and I've met some other amazing people there. There's been some amazing people that have worked there, and I think it's a common thread that those outdoor jobs, even though somewhat blue collar, I guess you could say,
Sure.
there's some of the most amazing people there. But okay, now I do want to talk about the last time, because it's been forever. That's why we're kind of catching up as we do this.
Yeah.
The last time I believe that I had you over, we were going through. Now, I don't know if you knew I was going to talk about this, but I'm going to make you talk about it because it's a huge part of your journey.
It is.
And it's going to help a lot of people. So the last time you came over, we were going through a course together, which I actually don't even remember all the details, but it was a full, I think, 2-day course. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And you were just on this mission for the last 6 months, year, I'll let him tell it, of healing and doing so much work. And a lot of it stemmed from, I'll let you tell it, but I believe a lot of it had to do with a former relationship that you and I had a lot of talks about while we were working at Lake Jennings.
Yeah.
And it was difficult because relationships are difficult. They're important. But I think Alex learned a lot of lessons, so I want to let you talk about some of that journey, bro.
Boy, yeah, that's
it's important.
That course was all about facing your demons head on. Yeah, that was it was interesting. I signed up for the course because, like you said, I was going through a relationship battle at the time, and I knew that I needed to work on myself first and foremost. So I signed up for this course.
Hold on, let me pause real quick. So that is a huge lesson right there. He was going through a relationship battle, which we all are going to go through. We all go through daily. What did Alex do? He did not project or put the responsibility on the other person. He decided, I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to look within. I'm going to work on myself. Yeah. Go ahead. That's huge, bro.
Yeah, well, I it was just a time in my life where, and I feel like it's true to anybody really, that if you are going to show up in a relationship for somebody, then you need to be able to show up as your best self. And I feel like that's kind of what drove me towards the course. Was I didn't feel like I was being my best self at the time. So yeah, I signed up for this course that they really dig into your psyche and kind of go back into your life and figure out what events could have been triggering for you and how to face those, how to prevail.
So what are some of the things that, you don't have to share everything, but sure, just maybe one or two, like, are there anything that you learned during that time about yourself that you needed to work on?
Big thing for me was the sobriety. At the time, definitely, and to this day, we all, anybody who's been in that path, to this day, it's a struggle and it's a fight. I mean, it's every day that you have to wake up and make the decision to stay in your sobriety.
Yep.
So I think a lot of it was based around that. A lot of it was just coming to terms with those and really focusing on the positive and how to move forward out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just really digging into how your childhood could have affected things, and how, you know, these moments as a child are impressionable on your future, and you don't realize it until you really start doing the work, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's huge. And I mean, like I said, we both have forever more work to do.
Oh yeah,
Because
it's a never-ending battle.
I've went through that myself, but I'm still trying to daily do something. The 1% work on myself daily.
Yeah.
But okay, so the sobriety thing, that's huge. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
What about though when you know, and you don't need to talk too much about the relationship, but
Sure.
when you were working on yourself through that course, is there anything that you found out about yourself that was maybe impacting the relationship in a way that you were able to grow through?
Yeah. So one of the things that I really took away from it was, I guess my own insecurities caused me to be, uh, for lack of a better term, like needy, and constantly seeking reassurance, because my past relationships and kind of put me in this mental state where I felt like I was just constantly needing that reassurance of the person loving me back, or and you know, the course really taught me that you find that love within yourself.
Yes.
And your partner is just there to experience it with you.
Yes.
And I didn't know that at the time, but learned it from the course, and it was a life changer.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, that's something that I think most everybody has went through. I mean, I would imagine, I think some of us are more people pleasers than others, and some of us maybe because of whatever we went through, are more reliant on that external validation at some point in our lives, whether it be from a partner or from social media or from people. Yeah. But we all go through something because God is good, and divine tapestry to where we learn that it is all within ourselves, and there isn't a single other person out there that can bring that to us. And not only that, but it will ruin the relationship if we're relying on that other person to bring that to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you learned that about yourself. You've obviously, that was months ago. What else? I mean, is there anything else that you did? Because I know you did a lot of things. Like you signed up for a course. I think you were seeing the therapist. Can you just share with the people just to help them if they're in your shoes? What are some of the action steps you took?
Yeah, that you're right. I did go see a therapist as well, and really just talking it out with her, and getting that perspective of how it needs to come from me. I need to have it from within. You can't get the validation from anybody else. You have to be happy with your life first and foremost before you can really show up for anybody else. And I felt like that was a huge breakthrough in the therapy, having that person to talk to, having that third-party non-bias that can look at your situation and go, okay, well, this is what I see, and I think the best step is to, go this route in order to heal you first and foremost, and then pick up with your life.
Yes. So I'm trying my best to stay organized as I think of things without interrupting you.
Yeah, no.
This will be a process to get better at that. But one of the big things I thought of there was ego has been a thing that's been on my mind a lot, because it's a huge problem. It is, I believe, the root cause of all the problems in humanity right now. And I am guilty just as much as anybody, but it's a misunderstanding, a misidentification of what ego is, the role it has. But as men, right, I was in the military. Yes, I came from a single mom. That's probably why I am more on this feminine side of things. But that's okay, because I don't care, because this is the way of healing. This is the way of love. This is the way we were designed. But as men, we have come a long ways. But I think there's still a lot of men out there that when they hear the word therapy, or talking to a counselor, or relying on somebody else to fix our problems, or even admitting we have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't think men, we want to pretend that we're so strong and we got it all figured out, and we bottle all these things up.
Yeah.
And how does that work for us? It doesn't. But
No.
did you have any like aha moment for you, or was it hard for you ego wise to like submit to like, I need some help, or I'm gonna do this work?
Yeah, it was a tough decision to make, because I think not only men, I think everybody goes through the fact that I should be able to figure this out on my own. I shouldn't need help. And we tend to get tunnel vision in that. And I think that's where having that third party kind of helps us to take the blinders off and look at the situation from multiple viewpoints.
Yeah.
And really see kind of where we were going wrong and how we can, what we can do to ourselves to at least not necessarily make it right, but at least come out the other side in a positive way.
Yeah. Yeah. And you believe that it was beneficial for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's done wonders for me.
Yeah. So that's just, take it with a grain of salt, just like everything we say. But my personal recommendation is I believe that every single person could benefit from therapy and having a therapist. Granted, a whole nother conversation would be how hard it is actually to receive that care, how expensive it is, but there are so many resources out there. I just want to throw that out there for any male or female out there, that we all have went through shit in our lives. Yeah. So it would be beneficial for you to have somebody else that is an external point of view talk through some of that stuff with you, because it has done wonders in my life. It's done wonders in his life. Yeah. We are still a work in progress.
Always.
I think did I talk to you about the like cyclone tornado like thing that I don't remember where I got that from, but it's a perspective of, right, because you talked about sobriety, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I shared this with you when you were talking about struggling with alcohol again since that season because I just went 8 weeks myself in the hospital with 0 nicotine. Nicotine has been my, what's that called? Achilles, devil's, whatever. Like it's my thorn in my flesh, my vice, where I've been addicted since 2011 in some form or fashion. I went 8+ weeks in the hospital with 0 nicotine, feeling amazing, having all this energy. Should have just stayed right off of it. But every time that I've been facing these new growth levels in my life, lately in the last year, I've picked up cigarettes, and I'm chain smoking as it's something to do just because I do love just smoking. But it's horrible for me, and I obviously am going to quit. But what I'm getting at there is that even when we make a forward step, in growth, that doesn't mean that we're not going to backtrack and come back around. But I believe, because growth is not linear, somebody told me about this tornado concept of, if we're going around, that inner circle gets smaller and smaller each time. So we spend less time in that season, right? And we come to it again at a place of greater awareness. And then eventually the goal is to hopefully never come back to it. Yeah. But that's also for me, like with the cigarettes, like it's also maybe an excuse, but I kind of have this like mindset still that I struggle with of like wanting to have the balance of some self-destruction, because I want to to live a little bit. But that's also not a horrible or not a great thing to adopt. But yeah, so you did therapy, you worked on yourself, you worked on your relationship, you got into fitness again. Yeah. Now, fitness, was that always a part of your life, or was that?
So I played volleyball competitively growing up, 3 different junior Olympics, qualified to go into, go down to the actual Olympic training.
Wow.
And then when I went to college, I kind of gave it up because I realized that it wasn't the path of my future. It was, it was something that kept me in great shape and got me through high school and got me scholarships. But I just kind of decided that at that time I was going to focus more on life and school.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, you have the athletic build. So
well, yeah,
you're looking good. By the way, I haven't said that yet, but
yeah.
you look like you've been taking care of yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, it's always been a part of my life, whether it's wakeboarding, water skiing, volleyball, running. I've always had some kind of a physical outlet to really take that pressure off of my system.
Yeah.
And after meeting you at Lake Jennings is when I really got back into running.
Yeah.
And now of course we're into the ultramarathon world. And
how many have you done now?
So I've done 2 ultras.
2 ultras. Fuck yeah.
And then I've done a couple regular marathons.
Yeah.
I just did the GovX half marathon last week. And yeah, it's just become a passion.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm just curious. What is your goal with the ultras? Because there's different levels. There's 50K, which is 32 miles. There's 50 miler. There's 100 miler, 200 miler. I don't know if there's something beyond that. David Goggins knows, but
there is now.
Because listen, the beautiful thing is there's science behind this. There's YouTube that can back this. Sure. The addictive personality type, right? You were an alcoholic.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
They are the ones that tend to find the ultra running space. Yeah. And I think I'm very happy for you that you have found that outlet, because obviously it can become an addiction of its own to where it could be a problem, but at least it's a healthy problem.
Yeah. At least you're getting good physical exercise and doing something with yourself.
Yeah. The where it can become a problem though for me is like, truly, if you're not running, like, you can get depressed because your baseline now requires you to go run 10 to 20 miles, which takes some time.
Oh yeah.
So if you can't go make the time to do that, now you all of a sudden just don't feel good.
Yeah. I can definitely speak to that one.
Yeah.
Even just this last week, I was going through some issues with my dog, and I took that week off, and I mean, even just that week, I mean, it was a struggle. I could feel my body just almost coming down from this high, essentially. Yeah. And kind of like you said, kind of going into almost a depression. And it wasn't good. It felt bad.
Well, because it's the same neural pathways, it's the same circuitry as a drug of anything. Like it's, when you run, when we exercise, it's releasing dopamine. It's doing the same thing that alcohol does, caffeine does, drugs do. Yeah. So when you're not doing it, it's a real withdrawal feeling.
Yeah.
So that is like what I had to learn, obviously, what God put me through. When that's taken away from you. So when you went that week, you said you were depressed. I went a long time without being able to do any exercise. Obviously very depressed because you're going through physiological changes. But as time goes on, how do I now feel normal without having to go run? Right. So have you explored that at all? Like yourself? Like, and I'm not trying to, this is just personal. I don't know. I haven't talked to you about this too much. Like spiritual, I guess, what I'm saying. Like, do you ever, because you have the physical side of things, you have the emotional side of things. So therapy, fitness, spiritual, what's that like for you?
I feel like I experience the spiritual side when I'm running.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like when you're deep in the hurt locker, it's like I said, all the answers come to light. And, I definitely feel like that's part of the addiction to running is that it does become a very spiritual thing. And it's just shocking what the body can do when you put it into that situation. I mean, it's crazy how I believe it was David Goggins that talked about how, when we feel like we have nothing left in the tank, we actually still have a lot left. It's just our mind is telling us to shut it off. And the body is capable of way more than we give it credit for.
Yeah. So. I think they reference that as the 40% rule. Yeah. So basically what they say is when your mind is telling you that you're maxed out and you're ready to give up, you can't go anymore, you're completely at your limit, that David Goggins, man, David, you got to pay us for this. We just said your name 4 times. There's been others though as well, but they call it the 40% rule. Is that they say, and I'm pretty sure the Navy SEALs actually did like come up with this idea. I don't know if it was David or not, but that you are actually only at 40% of what you're capable of. So if you feel like you want to give up, you're not only at half of what you can do. So if you continue to just keep going, which is counterintuitive because everything inside of you thinks you're going to die, you learn, oh, I actually can do more. And then that is making you grow spiritually, physically, emotionally, in so many ways.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've experienced that through fitness stuff myself. I went through BUDS training twice for 2 weeks as officer assessment and selection training. So I definitely experienced that as far as like being at a point of physical absolute exhaustion to where I couldn't even hold myself up hardly.
Yeah.
And you're forced to keep going. When you look back, you're like, how the fuck did I do that? Like,
Yeah.
And it's crazy. But that is why Navy SEALs are so amazing and godlike. I mean, and trust me, the ego is not a good thing that a lot of these SEALs have. However, they have earned it. They just need to figure out how to navigate that. But it's because they every single day are doing things that they didn't know they're capable of while they're going through training. And then the training is just training for the training. And because I know so many SEALs. I'm friends with a handful of SEALs, and they are fortunate enough to have went through a crucible such as BUDS that has made them spiritually evolve to the point of understanding that. But you don't need to go through BUDS to understand that, though.
No,
right?
No. You know, the first ultra that I did was actually Calico Ghost Town outside of Barstow, and I remember I showed up totally unprepared for this thing. I mean, I thought I had it all figured out, and it was turned out to be like 36 degrees at the start line, and here I am in running shorts and a t-shirt with no gloves. I'm just like freezing.
Yeah.
So of course I have to, start already uncomfortable before the race even gets going. And kind of like you were saying, it's just the body is just so capable, though. Yeah. I mean, it's just about learning where your limits are and learning how to push past them if you need to, and knowing where to stop. I mean, because even though the body is capable, there is a point where you got to be like, no, I need to stop.
Yeah, there's a spectrum. All right, yeah. I'm not going to say your name again, Mr. Goggins, but right, he's at one end of a spectrum, for example. Yeah. And then there's the average American or less than average on the other end, right? There's definitely a spectrum. So I agree with you. I don't think you have to get to the point necessarily of pissing blood and breaking all the bones in your feet to experience growth, but to challenge yourself and push yourself. Would you agree that it reflects in every aspect of your life?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like it has, especially in the entrepreneurial side of my life now, it has definitely given me this feeling of I can do it. It's this mental process of, I can do this. I can make this happen. And I feel like the running has really, really driven that into me, because I realized how much I'm capable of that I didn't even realize I was capable of.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's amazing.
It definitely comes into every aspect of life.
Yeah. Especially as doing what you're trying to do. I mean, you're running a business in San Diego, California, one of the hardest places. I mean, granted, you do probably have a lot of opportunity because there's a lot of boats here.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm sure that you have, but there's also a lot of competition. So for you to find your niche, which you've done, I believe, right? Yep. You're a mobile mechanic. Yep. And do you tell us a little bit more about your business, actually? Just for anybody that might be local, that way we can get you some plugs if they ever find this.
Yeah. So I had an idea to be a mobile oil change service, and I knew that there was somebody currently in the industry that did this by boat, and they had dropped off the face of the earth. The business kind of went away, and so there was this hole in the industry that needed to be filled because it's a service that people need. And so I went out and I bought a boat, and I rigged it so now I've got my waste oil tank on board and all the safety equipment and everything that I need to perform oil changes on the water. And so at that point, I now go around from marina to marina, and I pull up right behind the boat with mine and service it and drive away. Just makes it really convenient for the boat owner, because then they don't have to even worry about it. It's just done the next time they come down.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I know that just like there's mobile car detailing, there's whatever, but I'm sure that there's a big market for those people that don't want to, like, you go to them. Yeah. So that's amazing. That's amazing.
It definitely makes it convenient. There's a level of convenience that goes on with that, because otherwise they would have to bring it to a facility and take time out of their day, time away from work, time away from the family, whatever it may be, in order to get this just annual service done.
Okay.
Because a lot of the boats are, it's a process. It's 4 or 5 hours long. So, as a boat owner, if they don't have to take that time out of their day, then it just works for them.
Yeah. What is, this will be the last thing I ask you about your business. Sure. Then we'll move on for this episode. But what has been the biggest challenge that you've had, running your own business in this specific market? Like, what is something that you've struggled with?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's probably a lot of things, so just pick anything.
Yeah, probably permitting and regulations has been a big one. Just making sure that I have all the paperwork in order, so that if for any reason some, Coast Guard, Fish and Game, any of those guys stop me out on the water, I've got everything in my book covered, ready to go. And but yeah, I would say the paperwork is really the biggest one.
Okay. Paperwork. Okay. Yeah, no, there's a lot of I'm still learning myself, but I hear it from people who are at a higher level as far as having a very successful large corporation. There's a lot of work to be done that's not pretty, and that is more of the military term admin side of things. But you got to do it. So the paperwork stuff, and that is, I would say that's a great thing to bring up as far as being you said that is one of the biggest struggles. That's not something you would think of really, like that. There's so many things to think about when you're running a boat business, but the permitting, those little tiny things. Yeah. It's, I can see how that could be a challenge.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes in the dark room that nobody really knows about. And it's most of that time is actually the unpaid time.
And how do you get yourself to do that? I mean, do you find like it's hard to do that sometimes? Because I personally do. I think we all do.
Yeah. It's been a huge learning curve for me. I've never been good with office work, that type of thing. I mean, as you can see, I've always been doing something with my hands. I've never had to really deal with paperwork or office or invoicing. That was a whole nother thing I had to get used to. It's been a struggle to find the drive to do that on what I consider time off. But it's just something that has to be done. And I keep telling myself, if you're going to do this, then this is part of it. This is part of the process. You gotta take the burdens with the benefits.
Yeah. And would you say that the extra time that you're putting in unpaid on your time off that nobody sees, I mean, everything that you're doing right now, would you say that it's worth it? Even now?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I'm sure you're not probably where you want to be yet. I don't think any of us are, maybe, right? But,
oh no, I'm still very, early in the process. But
even now.
But yeah, absolutely. I think it's the right move. I think I'm doing what I was called to do, and that's
a big one.
I definitely, I definitely think it's all worth it. And it also gives me the freedom to sign up for more.
That's right. Work for yourself, then you can go make your own schedule, and you can go do all the stuff.
Yeah.
With that though, let's say you take a week off to go do the thing. That means the week before, most likely, you're putting in probably 20-hour days to make up for it. So just keep that in mind for all the work that goes in behind the scenes for everybody that doesn't know it, doesn't show it. It happens, clearly.
Yeah.
If you're not an entrepreneur and you work for somebody, ask your boss. He'll tell you. And we're early, so we don't claim to know it all, but we do know that there's a lot of work that goes into this. And I'm fucking proud of you, dude, for sticking with the journey. Because I know that even when I first met you throughout this last year or two, even, there's been times where you've like even questioned moving forward with it because it's so hard. It's so expensive. There's all these issues. So you've just kept going though. Yeah. And now it sounds like you're in a pretty good headspace to where you can probably attest to the fact that moving through all those cycles of maybe doubt or moving, you evolve even more to where you know that I made the right decision.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's crazy how the biggest doubt actually was right at the end, too. I mean, right as I was, transitioning into the business name and everything was finally filed and put together and ready to go, and the boat was getting done, and it was like that last stretch was actually some of the most doubt that I had.
Well, man, that sounds I can relate to this right now, and I think a lot of people can, because what comes to mind is a picture that I'm seeing in my head right now, and I know you've seen it, and all of you have seen it. There's a picture of a guy with like a chisel thing, right? And he's in a cave, and on top there's a guy all the way at the end of the chiseled cave, like very close to like a bunch of treasure with like a very thin thing of wall left, right? And on the bottom there's a picture of the guy turned around because he's walking backwards, he's retreating, because he didn't know that there's only actually that 1% sliver left before you get to the treasure, right? So
yeah.
I think the right term, and we go through constant different phases of this, but it's the initiation where the ending right before you're about to reach the next level or success is always the hardest, always the quietest, always maybe when you're doubting yourself the most. And then you have decided, and I've decided many times, if you just keep going, are you rewarded or what? I mean, like, you get the affirmation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like it was definitely worth pushing past that doubt and getting that last percent and finally being in business. Yeah.
Which is a level. Yeah. But there's always obviously more levels. And neither one of us are where we want to be with everything, but I think for me personally, it's usually between each next level of growth of whatever God is calling me to do, which I want to talk about that too, calling, because you brought it up.
Yeah.
It's usually, there is an initiation process right before that next level that you have to go without any affirmation, maybe any applause. There could be a lot of chaos going on, but that's where you have to tap into your intuition, your relationship with God, whatever that means for you, and then believe, because you said it, that you are in your calling. So let's talk about that. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Boy, for me, it's interesting. I feel like I've always tried to go other routes. I grew up with a dad who was a mechanic on boats. So I've been working on boats for a long time. I've always been around boats, water, so on. And I feel like as I got through like the college and that area of my life, I always tried to find a way out of that. I was always looking for a different job that was out of this industry. And it seems like every time I've tried something different, I find myself right back on a boat, and so I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do, and so it was definitely worth trying other things. I'm always a fan of people wanting to better themselves and learn something new. And I don't regret any of the jobs I had or anything like that. I always learned a lot. But yeah, I just always found myself being pulled back to the water. So, I definitely feel like I'm supposed to be here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, I will affirm that I believe that for you as well. So like I said, I'm proud of you that you've listened to that intuition, and I hope that you continue to do that. I think something that's important for people to just understand. I mean, it's pretty common sense, but a lot of the things that are common sense, obviously, as we know, are not actually common sense for a lot of people, which that's why we just talk about it, that sometimes, even though that you know that the water and boats are your calling, we could know that. We might have an idea and a vision of what it is that we're supposed to do, but sometimes life does present seasons where, okay, we live in the most expensive city in America. I'm not working on a boat right now. I have bills to pay. I have a child to feed, etc. There might be seasons where you have to go work a job. And not only is that, you know, making you more well-rounded as a person, but maybe you actually do hate every second of it. Well, I would then challenge you to get the hell out of there as quickly as you can. But I also understand that we have to do things sometimes that we don't want to do to get us to a position to actually be financially stable enough to then spend the time we need to start building and preparing to go actually get into our calling.
And I think you're right. I mean, there's going to be times where you have to do something that you don't want to do. I mean, I even run into that in my calling. There are times where I'm on a job and I'm just like, dang, I really don't want to be here right now. But you got to pay the bills. You got to push forward. You got to do what you got to do.
Discipline.
You know? Yeah. Discipline's the perfect way to put it.
So we won't have to go too much into it, but so you do believe in calling. I just want to ask you, I know I didn't prep you too much for this conversation, but go into it as much as you want to or not want to.
Sure.
When it comes to the calling piece of things, like I said, we've talked about physical, we've talked about emotional. For you personally, when it comes to calling, what do you believe in, and what does that look like for you, calling in a spiritual sense, right? Because I can then explain after, like, what I think it means and what probably a lot of people might, or at least how I grew up to, what calling means. What does it mean to you?
Boy, I've never been too much of a religious person, but I do feel that it's God's plan. It's like I said, I've always tried something different and found myself back on boats, and I feel like that was me straying from the path, and then him gently nudging me back and being like, no, you're supposed to be over here.
Yes.
So
I like how you said gently nudging you, because that is, I truly believe this, because I've experienced myself and I've heard it in religious settings or ceremonies, or whether it be Christianity or Hinduism, it doesn't matter, that God, whatever that is for you, speaks in whispers. Meaning that it's not always loud and obvious, but we actually have to be quiet enough to hear or see these gentle nudges. I love the way you put that.
Yeah, and you know, depending on which side of religion you come from, you know, there is the whole free will. So those times where you stray are the times that he doesn't necessarily have control over. Because it's like, well, I'm making this choice with free will to go do this. And so I feel like the gentle nudges are his way of kind of going, okay, I know I can't force you, but hey, you belong over here, you know? So I think, you know, like somebody I saw posted something about if you ask God for patience, does he give you patience, or does he present you with an opportunity to be patient?
Ooh, I know the answer to that.
And it kind of opened my eyes to that train of thought.
I guess for the keep it simple, stupid people out there, what is the answer to that?
He will present you with an opportunity to have patience.
Absolutely, he will. Right? Yeah.
So those are the gentle nudges. You know, he's.
And sometimes they're not so gentle, right? Like getting paralyzed, right? And putting up with a multi-year healing process, which I'm just making light of something that obviously is serious. But guess what? I am so grateful to be where I'm at and have what I have back. But talk about patience. You know what I mean? Like I can relate is what I'm saying. But but usually it's very gentle nudges. But sometimes, which probably another conversation, sometimes sometimes we are so stubborn and so in our own ways, or maybe we're actually exactly where we're supposed to be. Regardless, sometimes God has to do some very dramatic and major things to get us back on path, because our calling is so important for the rest of the world that he's not going to let you fuck it up. And he will do whatever has to be done. If you're not going to do it for yourself, he will make life happen to where you will be put there. And sometimes I do think, because I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I do. Yep. Or we make reason to that, but like I said, I believe there's a divine tapestry going on here, that even my accident I was chosen for that. I would have never chosen it myself, but I do believe that there was no accident there, and I see the purpose behind that every single day. But that was something that very much so, I'm not going to get into it too much today, took me from living one way, which wasn't bad, I was actually doing very well, into a completely different understanding of things, because it completely eliminated certain things from my life. Yeah. Like the fitness, sex, my job, my life as I knew it. All those things just went away, right? So that all has to go into ego, and too much to talk about for this conversation. But let's see. We're covering a lot, but that's okay. The last thing I want to ask, and then I'll let you ask some questions too if you want, bro, but I'll have one more question is, so this podcast, it's called The Forward Standard. It is not a declaration saying that I know what the forward standard is. Everybody listen to me. It is having conversations with real people, real leaders throughout America who have went through life, because we all have a journey, and taking the little tidbits and nuggets of wisdom to try to formulate what is the forward standard moving forward in a time in America where we are very close to no longer becoming a country and losing everything that we have fought for over our time. And I don't think people even understand or realize that, but we all know how bad it is, but we all also choose to probably hopefully ignore it a little bit, just because we're just, what does it really have to do with me? We can talk shit about it, but we're going to go live our lives. Yeah. But at some point, those freedoms won't be there, because our country is being destroyed right now, and we all know that. So what is the forward standard moving forward? Because I believe personally that we, the people, you and me, and everybody that this reaches, that's why we're even doing this out of responsibility. I feel like God's telling me to talk in front of you guys, just like we all have a story. I believe we have the power as people, you and I, that every single one of us, if we wake up and understand what it is we can do to move ourselves forward as a country, that we actually can fix the disaster that our country has become. And not only on a national level, but on an international level. Maybe I'm optimistic, maybe I'm crazy. I believe world peace is possible still. I believe the best is yet to come. And it starts with me, it starts with you, it starts with all of us. And so I swear the things that we have went over today, I was, like I said, taking little mental check notes. There was so many amazing lessons in just this conversation that we've talked about so far, that Alex has shared through his story. I've shared a little bit about mine, to where if you truly listen and then you try to take that little lesson, not because we know it all, because we don't, and think about your own journey and your own path, maybe something we said today you can apply from what you learned or heard, and have the humility to understand that you have the power to make the change that you wish to see in the world. Yeah. Now, Alex, I'm going to let you ask any question that you have or anything you want to talk about, because I don't know how much time we have left.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I know you set a timer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, just to kind of piggyback off of that, I feel like it starts small. It takes little things here and there from everybody, and that's what builds the domino effect that then keeps things moving in that forward momentum. So yeah, I mean, I guess just to anybody who's feeling like it's too much, and well, this little thing that I can do isn't going to make enough of a difference, so why do it at all? It's more about the bigger picture, and it's worth doing that little thing, because that little thing might inspire somebody else to do another little thing, and then it just keeps building on itself.
Yeah. And you know what? That was divine timing.
Yeah.
We have an alarm going off, but I will tell you, I'm going to leave it at that, because that was a quote that is going to be a highlight reel, because that was such an amazing quote.
Thank you.
For everybody, including myself, to apply and understand that there is hope.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of shit that's going bad in our country right now and our world. But if we can zoom out from that and look right here and just work on ourselves and believe enough to fix ourselves, the rest of the world will fix itself. It's the domino effect.
Yeah.
As Alex just said.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a highlight reel, I promise you, bro. But hey, dude, thank you so much for being on. It was so cool to come see where you spent 10 years of your life working in beautiful. We have the skyline right over there.
Yeah, not a bad view.
It's amazing view. I mean,
not too bad for an office.
Listen, if you love the water and you love boats, you can do this. This could be your office. It's just a choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying that you're not qualified. I'm just saying, do you believe anybody can do it?
You know, anybody can do anything they put their mind to.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's something that you know nothing about, you can learn.
Yeah.
I mean,
1% daily, right?
Yeah.
Just 1%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, it was amazing to have you on.
Yeah.
Here, give me a hug, brother. Yeah, bro. I can't wait to check this out.
Yeah.
And that's it, guys. That is it for episode number 3 of the Forward Standard, here with my brother, Alex Payne.